Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode here at Tribal Trades, the Altcoin show, coming at you daily, 6 days a week. And certainly wherever you are tuning in from around the world, do want to welcome you to the channel. We're going to talk about don't stuff it up. Don't mess it up. How are we going to make sure that we don't mess it up? How are we going to make sure that we're in the right coins at the right time, at the right prices, to ensure that we have an incredible second part of the parabolic phase of this bull run? Okay, so stay tuned for that. That is coming up. And of course, before we get into all the news and the charts, because I've got some setups for you on some altcoins, smash that like. You knew I was going to say that if you're a regular watcher. I don't know how you knew that, but you just knew. But smash that like. This helps get this content out to more people and certainly does help support the channel. And I do appreciate all the kind words and encouraging comments that people leave in the comment section, and all the questions. I do get back to those as quickly as I'm able to. The cheat sheet is below in the description, and link for the Discord, the most amazing Discord on the planet, the Stocks with Josh Discord, is also there. So certainly let's jump into some news, and then we will jump into the charts. All right, so Solana versus Sui. The big highlight part here is that Solana has infinity supply, and this sadly, unless Solana do change this in the future and put a capped max supply there, is going to be the Achilles heel. With Achilles heel, Sui for me, the better option, the better choice right now. It's faster, it's cheaper, and it has a capped supply. So long term, even in the short term, even though the tokenomics haven't been as strong as Solana, I think long term they're going to be stronger unless Solana puts a lid on the printing of more Solana tokens there. But just remember, there are some other blockchains out there. And here's the thing. If we talked yesterday about how if people missed out on Tau, some people might go to the next two, the next cab off the rack, which is Render and Fetch, okay? And maybe they will, maybe they won't, but certainly worth keeping an eye on. Certainly, the same thing may happen with Sui. If Sui begins to cool off and stays cool for a number of more days and weeks, we could see people start to rotate into other prominent blockchains such as Avalanche, Aptos, and Sei. And you can see here with Sei, interesting, it's been on my cheat sheet, but Sei became the L1 chain with the highest percentage of daily active wallets growth in the past 3 months, surpassing Sui, Ethereum, and Solana. So you can see there with Sei, this is one to keep an eye on. And so Avalanche, Aptos, and Sei are 3 to keep an eye on in case people start thinking, well, Sui's kind of having a bit of a breather. It's cooling off a little bit. I want to make some money. Let's look at the next 3 prominent blockchains, in my opinion there, okay? Not financial advice, because I'm not a financial advisor. This is for education and entertainment purposes only. Are you not entertained? This is the great Maximus Decimus Meridius from the movie Gladiator. Okay, so there you go. And then before we jump into the charts, the title of this was don't stuff it up, or don't muck it up. Don't muck it up. If you're in New Zealand, you'd probably say don't muck it up, but don't stuff it up. Don't. And I've said this, and I like that this was posted, and I wanted to share it. A tip that has helped me during previous bull runs is the following: no matter how bullish you are on a project, take your initial capital out after 3 to 5x ish. Okay, the advantage of this is that you take less risk, you have less emotions, and you have the funds available to buy a potential dip or make a new investment. But 3 to 5x is always a good general rule. If you're 3x up and you're hodl, consider taking your original capital off the table. Definitely by 5x, I really do feel that the original capital should be off the table, and you should be able to look in your column and say, I put $1,000 into this coin. It's now at 5,000. I'm going to take that $1,000 out and put it, and now it's house money. it's risk-free. So, all right, so what are we going to jump into? Some trades here. We've got the banana gun trade here. And so we're looking for an entry here at around 55, 54 to 55. 56 is okay. I grabbed some at 56. I'll grab a little bit more if we drop down this 54. And then from there, we're down to 50. And then there's 46, of course. And so, but certainly the middle of our range right now is here. And so I haven't drawn as I normally do. The next time we see this chart, hopefully I've drawn that in like I have for Sui and Tau. But certainly we've got some Fibonacci's. I feel like we've got a fairly solid top there on this run up here. So we'll just see how that works. And if we can come back to the 618, which is sitting around $54 to $55 for banana gun, we can get on the trade there and ride that back up to the top of the range there at around $66 would be TP on that as well. And I shared all of these in the Discord a few hours ago, by the way. So if you're in the Discord, you got these trades. I got these trades about 5 hours ago. Okay. So up here again, we came back. We're back in the trade, baby. We're back in the trade. 10 to 11 here. I don't have to wait for it to come down and touch the tribal trades trend line. 10 or 11, we're close enough. And if we come back a little bit more, I've got another buy in here at 10.4 for the buy at 10.4. And then we want to ride this back up to the 16 to 17. If your position is big enough here, you can do a TP1 at around 13 to 14 in case we start to trade in the lower part of this range. So if we buy here and we come up, then we might come back and up like this. So this can be a TP1. Here, certainly we have the tribal trades trend line, which we will extend up to here as well. If we can get that on the button, it's a little bit challenging, but here I might adjust that a little bit, but it's pretty close. And you can see how we got rejected here at that trend line up here. So it's quite possible that we could trade in the lower part of this range. So if your position size is big enough, the 10-11 might be a 13 TP1. And then if it does keep going, you can TP2 here. And if it does stop here, you can jump back in here again for blub. Bonk's pretty easy. I mean, this is just such a great setup. You either jump in here at 20 or you jump in at 23. If it breaks, look, it broke, but there's no successful retest. It's got to break and have a successful retest. You can take the trade on the break. You can take the trade on the break because sometimes it just breaks and there's no successful retest for a while, or it just goes. And so you could just take it on the break and just make sure you have a stop loss set underneath. So if it breaks and doesn't successful retest, you get stopped out of the trade. Obviously that's more risky, but you do want a break and a successful retest of that there. If you can see here, you can see clearly on the hour, you can break it down that we're below it. So you want a break and a little bit of a retest. You could even go the 15-minute and a break. I would take a break and a successful retest on the 15-minute as well. Okay, you can see that we had a break on the 15-minute and there's no successful retest. I'm certainly not really looking for, if you can trade on the longer time frame on the daily, break and a successful retest on the daily, that could take you a few days and by then the trade is gone. So sometimes just dropping it quickly down to the 15-minute time frame or hour time frame can help there. With that. So bonk, that's a pretty good setup there. And then obviously we're looking to take profits up at 28 up there. Doge, this is a trade that I gave back at the 50-day moving average. And we have break. We had a successful retest. We had another successful retest. Off to the races. We had a break, successful retest of the 200 EMA. So I said the entries were at 10.4 and this was TP1, by the way. Or you could move your stop loss up to protect the profit. And then the next one was at about 11.7, 11.8. Now you can see TP is coming up at 13, but also we could be looking at a break and a successful retest of that, and you could actually still get in the Doge trade at that point there, okay? So again, you can go down to the lower time frames to really see if they're, I'm looking at maybe a 15-minute or on the hour time frame. I'm not necessarily looking for a successful break and retest on the daily, although sometimes you do have it. You do get it. So yeah, so that would be Doge. The ETH trade, we're still rocking the ETH trade. And again, this is why I encourage people not to sell ETH at the bottom. You could definitely dollar cost average out a little bit, and you can dollar cost average out on every single pump on the way to the top. But certainly this could end up being one of the best trades here. We're at the bear market support line, the 200 weekly simple moving average, and certainly we are heading up to our first take profit at 2,800. So if you got in the ETH trade here, or I gave it again here at 2470, then this is looking okay. Now we could reject here because we've been rejecting here, and you might get another entry on this trade. HNT, I gave this in the Discord right live when it happened. And so right now we are getting, what is this level here? This level is $5.90. So let's look at it on the 15-minute chart, the $5.90 level. And let's just see, obviously here at $5.90 was good. So we've gotten a break here. And so you could get in that trade there at $5.90. Now we haven't had a retest of $5.90, but this is where sometimes just jumping in the trade there can pay off. You can see we got a Lux Algo order block there, so we may see a push down and we might get that retest to $5.90. So you can either front run it and say, oh, I think this is going to break and go up, the market's bullish, Bitcoin's bullish, and get in the trade. Or secondly, you can get it on the break, or thirdly, you can get it on the break and the retest. There are three ways. As long as you've got stop losses set, you can protect yourself on those trades. So HNT is one that I gave in the Discord at $5.90, and so that's an active trade right now. And then if we look, there's nothing really going on with Injective. We would need to either come back here for an entry or break and retest here for an entry there for Injective. Thing going on with Casper right now. Popcat, we're looking right now, we're looking at an entry around that $1.10 to $1.15 range. So if there's an entry here between $1.10, $1.15, and then we can ride that up to around that $1.50 level with Popcat. If we did break down further than that, I would be looking at that 90-cent to 95-cent range there for Popcat if you're looking to accumulate for HODL, or whether it be for swing, but certainly for swing, that $1.10 to $1.15 level, you could ride that up for Popcat. I have had quite a few people ask about Popcat, so I wanted to slide Popcat in there. Render's a good little trade there. Yep. Look at this. Oh, lots of entries here. Don't complain. Don't complain when Render's up here and go, oh, where's the entry? It was back here many times, okay? So we just had another entry there at $5.39. I gave that in the Discord. That's already popping off beautifully, and our first take profit is going to be at around $6.25. And just remember, if you do miss this trade, the next place to get in the trade would be a break and a retest of this over here. So just keep that in mind, although the 4-hour 200 EMA, certainly another place to get in the trade. This is why I trade and I look at all the different time frames. The next place to get in the trade would be a break here and a successful retest. So $5.52. So if we can get above that, $5.52, and you can even squeeze it down to the 15-minute time frame there. So a break above that on the 15-minute and a retest at $5, around that $5.50, $5.52. But we are coming into an order block here. So yeah, so I would say, I would even say there, $5.52 to $5.53 there would be a great next entry on Render if it doesn't pop back down to the 50-day moving average there, sitting at about $5.39 there. Say we had talked about, really we're just looking to see if that can come back to that 42. There'll be an entry there at 42 or at 39 or at 37, okay, for say. But we've been in that trade here, so hopefully you took some profits here and took some profits here and got back in here and took some profits here. If you're following me, please make sure that you are taking profits and you're not just watching your profits get diminished. Oh, I got in the trade and got greedy and wanted it to keep going and it didn't, and now I didn't. Oh, and then I'm waiting. No, this is the whole idea of swing trading. In the trade, take profit. In the trade, take profit. Look how easy this is. If you follow these guidelines here, if you follow these trades here, and if you're following this channel, you should be in profits. Don't stuff this up. You've got to lock in those profits, okay? Solana, beautiful trade. Another one that I gave again in the Discord about 5 hours ago. 151 is the entry, or 151, 152. 151 is the entry there, and then we're looking to ride that up to 160. Certainly, I gave many times, I gave the Solana trade down here on the 200 EMA on the daily with the 50 simple moving average there at 141. This would have been the first TP, and then we look like we have a successful retest here of this line. If we get another retest here, then we're in the trade again at 151 there, or you can even add to the trade if you're already in it and ride that up to the 160s there for Solana. And then just finishing off, we've got some SUI, and SUI's come down perfectly. Look, and I drew this yesterday, and look where it's come to. The line that I drew twice. 1, 2 opportunities you have to get in here around this $2 level. Okay, I couldn't make it even any more clear or plain. If you watched this chart yesterday, and I shared this chart for the last couple of days in the Discord as well, look at this, bang on. And you could have ridden this one back up actually to $2.24, taking profit, come all the way back down here, got in the trade again. Look, I'm not going to squibble about 5 cents. It doesn't need to get all the way up to $2.29 or $2.30. Look, that's totally fine. Close enough is good enough. You now can be back in the trade here with SUI at around, if you got it this morning, I put it in the Discord, if you got in there around the $1.95 to $2.05 level, you're back in the trade, and then we look at taking profit. What are we doing? We're just trading this level to this level to this level to this level, and if we break down into this channel, then we trade this levels here, and sometimes it'll bust up, and we can just trade in between the levels, okay? And you've got the tribal trades trend line there also providing some support for SUI. Super simple. We had the bearish divergence. I gave that on the channel. I told you that I thought it was coming down, and it did follow that bearish divergence. It did come down. Tau had the bearish divergence. Same things happened there with Tau. Certainly, we've seen some take profit, get back in the trade, okay? Take some profit, and now we should be looking back in the trade around 575 to 600. This is the entry there, somewhere in there. Right now, we're right on the button. So if you're looking at Tau, this would be an entry here. Tau, both for look. If you don't have much Tau, this is a just in case bag buy. Sure, we could go lower. That's why it's called a just in case buy. You buy a very little amount just in case it goes up, but not too big, just in case we go down, and you want to save your bigger buys for the lower levels on Tau. Okay, so then we would be looking to take profits up around the $680 to $700 level, but you can see there's been some strong sell pressure here, and this wick here, I'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But certainly, if we go below this line here, which is sitting at, what are we at, about 576, then we would start to look at trading in the lower part of this range, and we could see some downside, and we could come all the way back to this 470 to 475, 480 area here, $500 level, and then I would look to reaccumulate here and ride back up to here, TP1 here, come back, or sometimes it will break through. That's why you TP1, and then you come back up to here for your take profit. And this is how you range trade, and this is how you swing trade. You wait till a coin finds its range. We have now seen the Tau is finding its range after its parabolic move up. There's no range there. There's no range there. Now we have a range. Now we can trade this range. This becomes very tradable and very easy to trade. You can just trade these swings up and down, or if we come down to here, up and down, or you can trade the big swing. Like if you got in here, you can wait, and then you just wait till it comes all the way up to the top, and then you can be patient for it to come all the way down the bottom. But I like trading the middle swings as well. I think you can make more money that way. All right, we're going to wrap it up there. And as always, happy trading.